back in the city, man, I was drowning. I can't wait to settle down in.
Hi, I'm the Alabama Yankee, and I'd like to share with you how I carry my concealed weapon. I've been carrying for 5 years, I've been shooting all my life. And when I started carrying 5 years ago, I thought the big question was what weapon to carry. No, the bigger question was how to carry it. Because carrying is not just owning, carrying is actually carrying with you no matter where you go. And no matter where you go, there's a lot of different things that we all have to do. We have to sit, we stand, we crouch, we get into a car, we get out of a car, we go into a restaurant, we go into a stall. And so I found that very quickly, I found that no one holster was enabling me to have a high degree of comfort, high degree of flexibility, high degree of tactical advantage in all these different situations. And so I actually had to decide, okay, how am I going to carry today based on the majority of the way I was going to spend my time that day, which I didn't care for. I don't care for that at all. So it took me a little while to figure out how I now carry, and I want to share that with you. First of all, this video is not about whether you have a revolver or semi-automatic. I have both. I'm going to be using my revolver in this video, and I'll show you that it's clear. It's a 6-shot LCR 327. I love it. It's a great gun. And I also have a Ruger LC9S single stack 9. Now, as a prerequisite, you'll need a good gun belt. Now, when I first started carrying, I would watch these videos and read these articles, and they would say you need a good gun belt, and I would sort of ignore them, like, okay, I've got belts. Why should I have to buy an extra belt? I'd rather buy an extra box of ammo and go shooting. Well, for how I carry now, it's essential. And let me show you the gun belt that I have, then let me tell you why it's essential. I bought this on Amazon. It's $59. It's about 1.5 inches. No, honey, I'm busy right now. It's my doggy. 1.5 inches. It enabled me to cut some extra, or to drill some extra holes in here, so I have a higher degree of control over the tension. It doesn't stretch. It's a good leather product for $59. It's the best belt I've ever owned. I'll flash a screen up here. I'm not a representative. I don't get money out of that. I just think it's a good product, and I'm thrilled with it. And besides, it makes me look really cool when I'm wearing it, even without a gun. So you need a good gun belt. The second piece of the way I carry, you're going to need this pocket holster, but I rarely carry pocket-wise. But let me just work with me on this. This is a Remora. It's American-made. I think they're $20, $25. This one is, and you need for my system, you need a reinforced one, and this is a reinforced one. And what reinforced is, you see how it's flexible. If I push down, it pops back open, and that's because around the top here, it has reinforcement. Now down here, it doesn't. So what that does is it's sort of a V-shaped. You see how it's sort of a V-shaped? And that will help it fit within the belt. Now they also come with a clip. Don't get the clip if you want to do what I'm doing, because having a clip or having a regular inner waistband holster where you have to put the belt through it makes it very hard to make changes. With this system, when you're out and about, you can make changes on the fly. You could probably make them right, standing next to your car and nobody would see. Maybe. Best always to do things like that out of sight. By the way, if you go to the Remora site and you look up the reinforced one, they're going to say the main advantage is reholstering. To me, reholstering after a gunfight is sort of like priority 999. But I would think it really does help, and it does help because I dry fire with this. If you're practicing drawing and dry firing, that works. But the main reason I use this is that it fits in the belt, and it's shaped in this V, and it does make it a little bit easier to take the gun out. Okay, so you need the Remora. By the way, it has this little flap here, which is helpful for appendix carry. So I'm going to bring the gun back, and let me get to showing you how I carry now. Probably my default way to carry with this, probably 80 to 90% of the time, is at my 3 o'clock. So, slip this down. is at my 3 o'clock right now. Now the advantage of being, and you got to be careful if you got to be careful when you're pushing down like that. You don't want it to shoot out. But this Remora top is extra thick. The nice part about having it at the 3 o'clock position is you can sit, you can bend over, you can twist, you can get into a car, you can get out of a car, you can go into a restaurant and sit down, and the gun is always pointing down, and it's not fighting you. It's not fighting your leg movement, it's not fighting your hip movement. It's I scored a 10 on the comfort level and on the flexibility. I scored only an 8 on concealability because it is on your right hand side. Okay, it's pretty concealed, but it's on my right hand side. Now let's say I want to get a 10 for concealability. Well, then I switch to Appendix Carry, and with this system it's really easy to switch to Appendix Carry. Let's push it front, put it over your appendix. You can adjust the belt tension if necessary, and there you go. And remember that flap I pointed out in the Remora? Well, that flap makes it a little more comfortable sitting down. It's not as comfortable as 3 o'clock, and I'll use Appendix Carry when I really want that deeper concealment. But as far as when I want my all-around default way, like I said, is on the 3 o'clock. So far we have 3 o'clock and we have Appendix. Well, there's another way. You can put it in your small of back. So I'm going to get up, pull it out, and I'm going to put it in the small of my back. Now, so it's in the small of the back here. Okay. Now, I was a small of the back fanatic for like a year when I first started carrying. I had a different revolver at the time. And it was really comfortable because I was doing a lot of nature walks. But then I was reading about, and it's true, if you fall back on that gun, whether it's in a gunfight or accidental, if somebody pushes you back or you trip back or whatever, you can really do a number on your back. So I don't carry like this much, but I do carry when it's appropriate. And what do I mean by when it's appropriate? Well, the nice part about small of the back carry, besides it being very comfortable, is that it gives you a good tactical advantage in terms of stance. And let me demonstrate. And by the way, I've had to do this in one parking lot scenario with somebody followed me out in the middle of the night, but like 10 o'clock at night, they followed me out to my car, and they were definitely following me. And I had to turn, and I said, halt. Put my arm out, that arm. I said, halt. The guy was about 30 feet away. He took one step more, and I said, halt again. Well, what he didn't see is my other arm, which you can't see right now, because my other arm had my hand on my gun. And if you ever got into that scenario, you can pull it out and like that. By the way, don't put your hand on top of a revolver like that. You'll be disappointed. So that's the one. It's a tactical advantage on the small of the back. Now, how else can you carry this puppy? Well, it's made for pocket carry. Now, again, after I did the smaller back carry, I did pocket carry for like a year, and I was a big fanatic and big advocate of that. Mostly because it's extremely comfortable. Because it just becomes a part of your body. You just drop it in your pocket and it becomes a part of your body. There's a couple of reasons why I stopped pocket carrying. Number one is getting it out in an emergency situation. There's a couple points off. It's, in terms of tactical advantage, it's only an 8 instead of a 10 as far as I'm concerned. It's not bad, it's just not good enough. And the other reason I stopped, and this maybe isn't even a more important reason for me, is that when you're pocket carrying, the gun remains horizontal when you're sitting. It remains parallel to the top, to your thigh. And because of that, if you're in a restaurant or you're in a public place and you're sitting down, you're actually aiming the gun at somebody. Now, there's sort of a rule of gun ownership and gun carrying that you never point a gun at anybody you don't intend to use it on. And I certainly don't intend to use it on my 15-year-old nephew sitting across from me from the table. So it makes me very uncomfortable to have a gun pointing at an innocent person. Now, somebody posted this exact scenario in the defensive carry board. If you haven't been on defensivecarry.com, go there. It's a great resource. And people chimed in and said, well, yeah, it's not going to go off. It's not going to go off. There's safeties and everything. It's not going to go off. to me, that doesn't matter. So anyhow, if you do pocket carry and you go into a restaurant, you can always go into the restroom and take it out and put it in your 3 o'clock or put it in your smaller back and go out and enjoy yourself, and the gun won't be pointing at anybody. And when you're done, go back to the bathroom, stick it back in your pocket, and you're all good to go. So that's my system. I hate to call it my system because I'm sure other people do it, but for me, it developed into that. No one said, hey, you do this, and then you have these 4 different ways to carry. With a good gun belt, with a Remora holster, a small either revolver or single stack pocket, single stack semi, and you can carry on your hip, appendix, smaller back, pocket. And so when I go out now, I have a great deal of flexibility. I can change it on the fly if I have to. I'm always comfortable. I no longer have to worry. Hey, when I used to drive, and I'd have, I wouldn't say a hard wire, but I'd have a different kind of holster. I'd have to take the gun out and stick it in the car door when I was driving, and I actually thought that was good. But again, off-body carrying is not a good thing. Incidentally, this is got a Crimson Trace laser on it, and I got this Remora before I got the laser. When I got it, the gun wouldn't fit in there as well as it was supposed to. And so I could have ordered, you can buy these so they're set for lasers, but I said, well, I'll just snip a couple of the threads right here and see what happens. And that was the better part of a year ago, and it hasn't spread at all. And I think that's a testament to the Remora company. Remora company is American-made holster company, and they answer their phones, and it's really a quality product. I think it's $25. Not to put sticky holsters down, but this is like head and tails above sticky holster as far as I'm concerned. Okay, that's it. I'm the Alabama Yankee. You be safe and keep your loved ones and yourself safe. Don't go anywhere you wouldn't go even if you didn't have a weapon. And blessings to you and your family. Take care. Alabama Yankee, over and out.
Back in the city, man, I was drowning. I can't wait